Welcome to the Game Corner, another video game podcast. My name is Harrison. You'll know me on other things as Ixen. And today I am joined, as always, by
Rowan, you might know me as Mocha, and I am being forced to play Series 12 against my will.
Series 12. Oh, because of the leagues
Series
and whatnot?
12, yeah, just because of World Cup, I can't stop.
World Cup. Oh my gosh, that's true.
Yeah, it's the first week of the playoffs is this week. I apparently have to play against the Singapore national champion.
Oh, you got
Yeah,
this.
so yeah, easy. Of course.
Easy
I'm
peasy.
gonna say that and get O2'd, but yeah, I mean I actually have to like really care about this format that nobody else does anymore.
Yeah, I mean, at least we've had plenty of practice with that series.
So is my opponent.
Fair point. I guess when does Series 13? You have one more day of actual Series 12. We're recording this on August 30th, and it's September 1st.
Yeah, when by the time this is published,
it'll be over. Yes, good point. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna have Rowan and I were talking about this before we started recording for the episode. Obviously, Sheldon has other things. We'll let him tell his story next week, hopefully, on the pod. So it's just us. We made a vow that this would be a short episode. I know the last couple have been like over an hour. We're gonna go under an hour so we can average an hour. That's our goal, at least. So we'll see if we can hold ourselves to that. I also lost my train of thought. Oh, World Cup. So playoffs, you have that coming up.
Yeah, no news. None of our matches have been played as of this recording, but
okay.
It's the second we lose, we're out because the playoffs are single, and so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how many matches are there per round for you guys? Like how many?
It's down to 7 now. For some reason, before the playoffs, it was 8, so you could technically tie, and we did one week.
Okay.
But now it's 7, so yeah, it's just first team to get 4.
So now there is no chance of tying. Yeah, cool.
I guess you could, in theory, tie, like literally. Tie
I guess if
just like
if one ties, then I guess you'd be tied. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Cool. So yes, hopefully next week we'll have more information on that too.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so as everyone is probably aware, with Worlds behind us, with, as we just mentioned, Series 12 finally behind us. This is episode what, like, oh, I think 12. That's funny. Of the podcast. We've had before this one 12 episodes, pilot included, with Series 12. That's like a lot of weeks, and we didn't even start in the beginning. Series 12 was freaking long. Finally something new, Series 13. And then we have the dreaded wait. We have like 80 days or something until Scarlet and Violet, and a whole new box of toys to play with.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, like, Series 12 has been hard, but it's probably been the most balanced format we've ever had. Like, I say that in that, like, I think every other format, we were talking about going through other formats in a later episode, but every other format has had, like,
spoilers.
These are the teams that are really good, you know, like, these are the teams that if you play them, the only teams you're losing to are someone who's just better than you or someone playing one of those other teams. 12 has been like, it had the time to be refined to the point that you can play any of these, like, a lot of different archetypes, and the better player is probably going to win unless they get really unlucky. Like,
well, I think that's a really good point, right? It's a lot of time to mature in this series, and I don't know, balanced might be the word. It's definitely, I think, the most
stable,
matured, the most
maybe.
stable. It's probably most stable because we've had so much time with it, right? Personally, I'm really looking forward to Scarlet and Violet Series 1. I want to go back to a regional decks.
Lower power is huge. There's just room to not, like, if you mess up one turn, you don't just instantly lose the game, right?
Right.
It's pretty nice to have.
Right. And of course, I mean, new gimmick, new Pokemon, new moves, new items. We've touched on that last episode too. So a lot of fun there. But that is for 80 days from now or whatever it is. How do we pass the time between that? Good
How would
segue into
be
the topic, eh?
oh, subtle. I liked it. No one
Yeah.
didn't see it coming
And then
at
the
all.
call outs
Yeah.
make it even more subtle.
So the official format, we've already had a whole episode on it and alluded to it in other episodes with Series 13, and that's the anything goes format. It's all as many restrictors as you want, as many mythicals as you want. Just go and Dynamax, just go nuts, and super cool. First time mythicals have ever been allowed, but
Yep.
also, I as I kind of alluded to in the intro, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play 13 because I've been still stuck in 12 land. But from the general sentiment I've gotten is that it might be too much. It's a lot of power.
There's been a lot of talk on like VGC Twitter about like, you know, what does this look like? How are these teams? Oh, it's rough.
Yeah.
It seems like a wild wasteland over there.
Like mythicals aren't that crazy. We talked about this like when we went over all the mythicals that we thought were like notable in Series 13. Like the thing we always came down to was this would be good in Series 9. Like they're cool. They have amazing tools. They're not weak, but they're weaker than restricted. They're base 600 generally, right?
Yep.
So whereas the the real restricteds tend to be base 700 or higher in some cases. Pretty sure Zacian's 720. Like
yeah, I think so.
Absolutely, like
I figured that out.
they just can't really compete. So the best teams in 13 are going to be just like 3 to 4 restricteds and two top tier supports, and that's going to be that, right?
Yeah, the amount of, like you said, it's the fact that we're adding more restrictions to this format is the scary part.
Yeah. So what the community's been doing in response to that, I mean, some of them are just taking a break, which I think is totally a reasonable thing to do, right? We a lot of us have been tryharding this game really hard for like the last 2 years plus even.
Right.
And so Unite is if you're really stuck on this franchise, then Unite is there. The TCG is there. There's gonna be regionals all the way through. I mean, if you want to
Pokemon Go is there.
If you want to waste a lot of money, Pokemon Go is there. Yeah. So
get your
like,
steps in.
Yeah, there are definitely options. I mean, you could just play a real video game or maybe touch some grass, but like the but some of us are so VGC brained, so addicted, so just pumping copium into our veins that we want to play something that is still VGC. Wow, I think our cats are literally fighting each other downstairs right now.
That's not the first of those rattles I heard. And I'm like, what's going on?
Maybe I could like record that for content. I don't know. But
real Pokemon battles. Wait, hold on. That's not
as we get like we slowly inch on the fact that this is like a franchise about magical dogfights, but
yeah,
neither here nor there. What I'm trying to get at is that the community has thought like, okay, what can we do that will be fresh and fun and different than the like Dynamax restricted slugfest that we've been in for the better part of a year, and B, prepare us better for Scarlet and Violet, which, like you said, is going to be a lower power regional dex. There will be this new gimmick that we can't really prepare for. We still don't know everything about terrestrialization.
Ooh, so close.
Struggled a little bit there.
Every other time you said it on the pod, you got it in one.
I had a couple drinks. It's almost vacation time for me. Yeah. So, and they've basically come to two conclusions. The first is something we've already played. Some of us have already played a decent bit, which is Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, which is pretty cool. But the other one is completely new. It's never been an official format. And it is Series 9 with no Dynamax allowed. So no restricteds, no Dynamax. The lowest power you can get in Sword and Shield without just outright banning random mons. And it's pretty cool. Like, it's actually gathered a really big following. So there's a Sutopolis League. So I keep looking over there because I was trying to find the Discord with the name on it. The Sutopolis Draft League, I think, is the biggest one going on right now.
I need to join that.
Draft as in it's a team draft league, like LDL, and not like a Pokemon draft league. But yeah, there's already an unofficial showdown ladder for it. It's a lot of fun, honestly. Like I'm having a great time just messing around with it.
I didn't
and
even realize it was on Showdown. That's actually really cool.
not official Showdown. You have to go to
Oh, one of the other
with
servers for it.
yeah,
I
like
see. Okay.
one of the private servers, the one that's kind of sketchy and has like it's not a secure link.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
You know, it may never be on the official Showdown for what it's
Okay.
worth. So you can play with your friends in Series 10 and just not bring a restricted. But yeah, it's not official, so it may never be on Real Showdown. But yeah, it's pretty cool actually. Like I don't know if you've ever thought about a format like that, but like I
Well, it's
think it's
cool.
the
So
closest
to
thing we're gonna get.
I do want to point out, like, so Series 9 is the national Pokedex, and then obviously they allowed all Dynamax and Gigantamax at the time.
Hmm.
So Series 9 no max is literally just every Pokemon available within Sword and Shield, uh, no restrictives, no mythicals, and then obviously, like I said, no max. Um, so the full kind of normal Pokedex, one could say.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know how deep you want to dive on it, but like, it's really cool. So when this first started, I think this is not the first time people have had this idea, right? A while back, there was something called the Eevee series that people were messing around with. And it was pre-Series 10. It was just people being like, God, they were just sick of Dynamax. They wanted to try this out. And the one thing they were worried about, though, was that certain mons would be overpowered. And in particular, they were worried about the combination of Gothitelle and Urshifu. Um, which, if you think about it at a surface level, it's really scary, right? Because Gothitelle gives you a relatively fast fake out and shadow tag. And Urshifu gives you Urshifu things like
Mm.
guaranteed crit, massive power, no protecting. And so you like in theory, if you can't Dynamax and you can't switch and you can't protect,
You're just kind
what
of gonna take whatever you can get.
and you can get faked out
Yeah.
by something that's faster than all the common fake outs. What are you gonna do? And so they thought that this was gonna be so centralizing that they banned those two. And then Series 10 happened and no one played that outside of the first 2 weeks. So it's been pretty cool to see like how this shapes up and like I don't. One of the things that people talk about, and I still believe this to some degree, is that a lot of the Pokemon that they introduced in Generation 8 were balanced by the existence of Dynamax. Talking like Regieleki, Urshifu, Rillaboom, um, like both Urshifu forms for that matter, and even things like Indeedee with Expanding Force and all that. The like a lot of these mons were balanced by the fact that you could just double your HP pool and deal with them.
Yep.
And the second you can't do that, they're really, really scary. But people are just finding ways around it. Like right now, the meta has all kinds of crazy stuff. Like Naganadel is big. Like Drifblim plus Terrain is big. You'll see a lot of like Scarf and DD males, like kind of nutty stuff. And I'm sure I'm way behind, and this might just be gimmicks. But like, it's not just the like Ixen, Rillaboom, Urshifu, Aleki core you think is going to be on every team. Like
That's cool. That's actually would be refreshing to see. I honestly I've not seen a whole lot of team brewing for Series 9 no max.
it's hard,
Um
right? Because there's no official ladder. So the only way you're
right,
really going to see these replays is to know people who are playing it
who
in
are doing it.
some private league and then watch their replays. Which I've had the good fortune to be able to do that, but it kind of sucks that it's not accessible at all.
Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. I don't know. It's cool because I don't know. Like you said, taking away. There's only been a handful of series where they removed Dynamax. No,
Only one,
only
just the
one.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, Series 10. So that was you were allowed one restricted at the time.
one restricted and no max.
Yeah,
That's right.
and yeah. So at least my opinion was that got really centralized because when you can only have one, like the reason I think Series 12 is a lot better than Series 11 is that I think two restricteds is actually a
Is
lot more flexible
because
than
you
one.
have options.
Yeah, exactly. And that meant that you could like, okay, my one restricted has a bad matchup, and now I can choose my other to handle those.
Right.
Whereas in 11 and 10, if your restricted had a bad matchup, sometimes you just couldn't bring it, and then you were at an inherent disadvantage, which then meant that the restricteds who didn't have like hard
That
losing matchups were just objectively better to bring, and the whole format ended up just revolving around it was Kyogre, Xerneas, Zacian, and Calyrex Shadow, and Calyrex Shadow the least because dark types made it sad,
right.
right? Like
Yeah. That's it's a good point. Something we'll have to bring up in next week's episode. when we go through the series again. But yeah, so Series 9 no max, finding I think you're right, finding the Sutopolis League.
Yeah,
What
we
it
can
was.
we can post a link to their Discord. I don't know if there are any slots open, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, because I just realized that I didn't sign up and I'm kind of sad now.
Okay. Yeah,
So
if there are slots open, we'll put the link in the description. If
yeah.
not,
Well, at the
at the
very
very least,
least,
I'm sure there'll be content coming out of it.
and we'll put the Discord, their Twitter. I saw they have a
There
Twitter
we go.
thing down below too, so check that out in the description. Go give them a follow, look at them, follow them, look at them. That was weird. Sorry, that fell out of my mouth. Yeah, go see what they're up to. Because like you said, I'm sure they'll be posting stuff on at least on Twitter about it. And then probably they'll post to YouTube too. Who knows? Yeah, so that's cool. Rowan, besides Series 13 and Series 9 no max, what else is there for me?
Oh wow, I'm glad you asked, Harrison. Let's talk about it. So I actually mentioned it a little bit earlier. Is some people are looking back at Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which is really cool. It's so the problem with this was that they didn't develop these games to be played
It
competitively.
wasn't good.
There is
What?
it was a terrible single
Ooh.
player game.
Ooh.
Let's just not.
Oh,
I'm sorry about your throat there.
yeah.
But now that you got that out, we can talk about how terrible it was as a single player game.
Yeah. So for BDSP, if any of my super large Twitch following, twitch.tv/row_Ixen, know that I promised chat that I would only play this game on stream, which I've never done for a game,
That's
right?
the only way you can convince yourself to do it.
Yeah, it was, and then I stopped playing the game on stream. So I think I am 2 or 3 badges in, and I have not touched that game in months.
I actually did manage to power through the whole game, and I think I like only
More
through
power
sheer
to you.
willpower. I didn't grind. I think by the time I beat the Elite Four, I was like 10 levels under levels. Just like I just want to be done with this.
More power to you. I don't know. I bounced off it so hard, and I mean I've loved Pokemon games for ever, and this is probably the one like mainline-esque game that I could not power through.
It wasn't great. Yeah, it's
So
unfortunate. And what's really unfortunate is that the competitive format was actually a lot of fun. Like maybe
really,
probably one of my favorites. So you're talking
didn't they not? Did they have a ladder? No. What they
no,
have?
so there was no ladder.
Okay.
What they had was what was going to be was the union room. In theory, it was supposed to be
Ah.
you and a bunch of other people could all come into the same lobby and talk to each other and trade and battle and I don't know, like share stickers or something. I might be making that up. I really don't know. I'm sure there was more than trading and battling. I feel like there's some other meaningless thing. But like
Contests? That was
maybe
big back in Gen 4.
yeah, maybe it was
I don't know if you could do those multiplayer.
So
Make puffins or puffins or whatever it was. Puffins the actual bird. Puffins is the candy.
so that was the idea. In reality, what happened was that they did not have netcode to handle more than 2 people in the same room ready in time for launch.
Really?
And
Oh,
so these
glorious.
rooms where you'd put in a number and you may get put into a gigantic room meant for multiple players, but only 2 people would be in it. And you and the little chibi person who that your opponent or like the other person would have to find each other in this giant room and then talk to each other, and then you could start a single or double battle. And there was no VGC pick 4. It was all like you could bring 6 with you. So the only way to get a ladder battle in this game was to basically on Twitter there was an agreement that says all people who want to play VGC should put in this specific room code as 2021 2022 I think was what it was at the time.
Sure.
And so if you were lucky, not lucky, I think for a while it was relatively easy to find a match. Like there's no matchmaking, there's no guarantee that the person would be good or bad or whatever.
Sure.
But you could like I was able to make a few videos off of these battles with that, like, and people just kind of honor code brought 4, and if they brought 6 they were usually bad enough that you could 4v6 them, but like yeah,
Fair.
it was that kind of nonsense, but yeah, it was the that was unfortunate, but it was on official Showdown because it was an official game.
Yep.
And only gens 1 through 4, no restricteds, and like no gimmick, no Dynamax, no Z moves, Megas.
Oh wow, yeah, good point.
Yeah, it was actually really cool, and you still had all the like modern mechanics. You had dynamic speed. You had like all the new abilities, the fairy typing, all this kind of stuff, right? That wasn't there in Gens 1 through 4.
Yep, yep, yep.
None of the crazy gems or anything. It was a low power, fun format, and the only problem was there's no way to really play it officially well.
Yeah, I have like, without having made my own foyer into that, I have heard really good things. Like
Yeah,
I know Twitter was popping off at some point of like, it's actually not, it's fun to play. It's not bad. It's horrible to actually play, but the format itself
yeah,
is good. And I think that's I don't know, that to me, almost off topic, it says something of like a missed opportunity.
right. Yeah, no, 100%.
Something.
It was a contracted game that they couldn't even bother to get the ladder going on, and the fact that it
Yeah.
was written in Unity means they probably even couldn't port it easily. So it was a
Uh,
whole thing. So there's a case to be made for it being a better format to play before Scarlet and Violet come out because I mean there's no gimmick between Series 9 No Max and BDSP. Both of them are no gimmick No Max, but the power level is a lot lower and it's probably a lot closer to what you're going to see in
sure.
uh in Scarlet and Violet, especially
The big.
because Tyranitar was a big meta force in BDSP and I
Oh, good
think we
point.
can almost certainly assume
It's
it's
coming
going to be
back.
a big one.
It's
Yeah.
coming back. Great stats. Terrible typing. Terrestrialization fixes that, right?
Yep. And T-Tar is always good
Yeah.
before restricteds get introduced anyway, so
Yep.
it's just a matter of time. Yeah.
So it's that'll be that'll certainly be interesting. Um, yeah. So I don't know. Get y'all get some friends together who may have actually played BDSP and play some of that. That
Yeah.
sounds
I
fun.
mean,
Or
other
Showdown.
thing to other thing to consider, yeah, A Showdown is the BDSP ladder is still existing on Showdown. I can't tell you whether you find many opponents, but this might be an idea for our next tournament too, if you think about it, right? Because we our Series 13 tournament that's currently ongoing, the Battle Corner, is actually a couple of rounds deep. We've only had one one no show so far, so not too bad at all.
Yeah.
Um, and that's great. But if people are tired of Series 13 already, we can always shift to one of these formats, whichever one kind of like takes hold. There's still, like you said, 80 days until Scarlet and Violet, which is pain. So we might be able to help y'all hold over until then.
Yeah, we are somewhere between rounds 2 and 3.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I do really love the long form tournaments like this because it's not that hard. I mean, okay, we had not like 100 people in our tournament, but it's not that hard to manage, and it's nice to just kind of see it happen at its own pace, and until the end.
yeah.
It's really cool.
Really cool for sure. We've gotten a few VODs already, so we'll definitely be casting
I
some
need to
of that,
download
putting
those.
it up. Yeah, we are both busy this coming weekend, but we'll get those as it goes, and
We'll get to that at the end.
yeah.
But yeah,
So there's going to be a lot of content to come from that. Definitely excited to show those off, and we're going to try our best to make sure that the finals are recorded too.
yep, we'll do what we can there, and you know, a make content, but b also kind of let people show off. Kind of, these are the best 2 people in this tournament. It's kind of cool, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
So
and I am excited to see what like relatively high level Series 13 looks like.
yeah, I was talking. So I think we're past the main point of the main topic of this of this episode, which is stuff that's not Series 12 or 13. But looking at so in the Little Root Draft League, I was like talking with my team and preparing to be like, oh man, what should I do for Series 13? I have no idea because I haven't really
None
had a
of us
lot
do.
of time to do any sort of thinking about brewing up some teams.
Just steal something from the
I
battle
didn't
corner.
realize until like a day later. I was like, y'all, I'm stupid. I have all the team sheets from the battle corner I can just steal from. So thank you,
Careful.
everyone.
I mean, he didn't mean that.
Yeah, I didn't mean that all that much. No, I mean, it's inspiration at least, right? Like, I really have no idea what's
Yeah,
good, what's not, what's hot as far as these teams go. I can throw 3 or 4 restrictors on a team with Incineroar and Whimsicott and probably do okay. Right.
You're not wrong.
So that's an option. I don't know.
I don't know if you've seen the memes that are like the like flowchart for building a team for each format.
Yes,
And
I
the
love
Series
those.
13 one was choose your Kyogre, choose your Zacian, choose your Tailwind.
Oh, it hurts because it's true. But yeah, so there are fun options there. Um, I'm still mentally laughing at that. Okay. So yeah, so those are, I mean, 13, 9 no max, 12 if you're Stockholm syndromed to it, and then BDSP,
BDSP.
all good options of things you can spend. If you like Rowan said in the beginning, if you are just so entrapped by VGC, there are some good options for you.
The off season's always rough, but honestly, like as much as I'd love to go to a regional soon, I think it's for the best. Like,
Oh, we didn't talk about that too.
yeah,
Or we
yeah, we didn't get to talk about the new regional schedule. But yeah, so everybody knows there are regionals coming up this year,
Yep.
and there's no VGC at them.
Well, okay, yes. There's no VGC until January 6th, 2023. Which is the first time VGC is here. It is, there's some of the discussion I've seen on Twitter is like, oh no, there's one, two, three, four. There's five. There's five regionals that don't have VGC. And people are really hoping that the championship point cap for or whatever need threshold for VGC is lowered because like we don't have stuff. I
Yeah,
don't know.
one would hope, right?
Something. I hope
It's
it
gonna
makes
be hard.
sense.
We also don't know if locals are happening either, which is something to consider. Like they
So
haven't talked about it at all, which means that you might just have to go to a bunch of regionals.
that's tough. So
Yeah, which is
I
expensive to travel and more expensive now to go to. We recently found out that they've
the
bumped up
prices
the
are
price
going
of
up.
them. They're going to be 70 a pop. I mean, I'm in the privileged position to be able to do that regardless, but a lot of people aren't, and that we've had a lot of talks about this. Like I feel for the TOs because, to be frank, Nintendo is not known for supporting esports. They're probably getting the bare minimum of money to do this. It's expensive to run a stream. It is incredibly expensive to rent a venue for this many people,
Mhm.
and the like it only gets more expensive. Inflation's happening. Like I totally get why you'd bump it $10 in a year, but it's just rough because how many like there's masters like you just have like which are mostly college kids as far as I can tell, right? Which pretty much means you're depending on your parents most likely.
I put, uh, I know you saw this. I put out a tweet the other day of like, when do they make a Grand Masters thing for like people over 30 or something? And someone responded. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it is off the top of my head. Like, I
It
think
was SPAC.
it was what?
It was Factor Titan. They're a
Well,
younger VGC player.
well, not they're part of that thread, but someone was like, yeah, the mean age for World was pretty high at 25, and I'm like, oh, oh, it hurts so bad. I mean, I'm not an old fart yet, but boy, comments like that, ooh, I'm in the wrong hobby.
Hurt your soul.
A
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit.
No, it's but yeah. I mean, it's kind of a rough situation because like
Yeah.
you have 25 and younger. If we're talking 22 and younger, that means that they are college age kids. They
Yep.
probably have part-time jobs at best,
At best.
and then you're talking seniors and juniors who like
I was gonna say it's
absolutely
those
part-time
it's
jobs at best.
yeah, those two are gonna have a hard time, and or like you said, depend on the parents. And I don't know, it's hard. It's a hard situation. Like I understand that, like you said, unfortunately, money is a necessity to run things, to make things
But
happen, and yeah.
it's an expensive hobby.
I
Like
mean, when we're not even playing like the TCG, right? Like
yeah,
think
yeah. Imagine all that plus you've got to spend like a few $100 on every deck you play with.
right. That is wild. Uh, so yeah, it's tough. I do remember, and I said this in an episode previously, and I need to dig this up because this is the second time it's come up, and I can't actually look at it. But I swear that Play Pokemon said something about locals coming back in like the June July timeframe. But then like it didn't. There's like some. I looked at the event finder. There's like some TCG events, and nothing for VGC. So I'm hoping with everything going the way things are going, that we'll get locals.
I have even heard like I'd even heard something about TCG locals not really being super
They're
widespread either.
sparse. They are
Yeah,
very
yeah.
sparse right
So
now.
yeah, it's hard. I mean, so I think what was it? Wolfie posted something about this too, and he was basically saying that of everyone who got day two in Worlds, either all of them or almost all of them attended like 20 events. Like not many people can do that. Like
That's rough.
calling it pay to win is a bit disingenuous because you also have to win, but like
It's
you do have to pay like
it's
a
pay to
significant
play.
amount. Yeah, it's pay to play, and it's pay a lot to play, and it's pay to play enough,
So
I
to be
guess,
to
is
be
the point, right?
fair
Like
though, to be fair, the people who got day two in Worlds also well,
they had to
actually
be the
no,
top 8 or the top 16 in their region to get day 2.
and that's 20 events over 3 years. Big air quotes, right? Because there's a
But
year and a half, 2 years with no real events. They had this.
it was about one full year of time, I think. Not even
Okay,
that.
yeah, because they had.
Yeah.
But did people get CP for like the IC stuff?
Very little. I think like
Okay,
the online events you could get up to
yeah.
50, I think.
Oh
If you
boy,
won, you got 50.
wow, that's like an eighth of what you need.
Yeah, that's less than I got for 14th. Like it's just
Oh,
honestly
good
the
point.
IC is probably a more impressive achievement just because of how many people are in it
Because the
and
size,
how
yeah,
invested one is. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, so that's I don't know. I guess still 20 events is pretty wild because you're looking at. I mean, there's two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. There's only 9 North America events with VGC for
I mean that
2023.
that was regionals. I don't want to lie on a podcast. I'm gonna find I'm gonna find this real quick to see the exact number he said, but it was a
Uh,
lot.
but still,
It was genuinely too many.
but like still, 9 is a lot, right? If you go to every one of them with VGC,
Yeah.
that's a lot. And that's, to be fair, that's what's announced. And I know when they put this list out one day like before Worlds, and then they added another regional, like Shadow added it one day or something. Um, but like still, that's 9 in the North America region. There's only 4 announced in the Europe region, in EU, and then
Yeah.
of
So
course,
I found the tweet. He did say 20. I mean, I'm not gonna fact check him now,
wow,
but he says
yeah,
nearly every player who got the day one bye attended over 20 events last season. Which I'm gonna be honest with you, that means that you traveled internationally, which means
yeah,
that the flights are gonna way dwarf the cost of $70 tickets. But like,
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know. That's a lot of dedication.
yeah,
More power to you. Like I would love to, but like honestly, I was
yeah.
talking with my wife earlier, like trying to plan out like, ooh, what can we make a trip, right? And I'm
Most of these cities are not fun places to go for trips. Like they choose the cheapest possible
they
venue
do.
that except for Worlds.
That's fair.
And they go to just like picturesque Collinsville. Like what am I doing with my life?
I mean, so we have. I don't think we mentioned it on the pod yet, so we didn't really talk about it last time. But I know the three of us really want to go to the three sort of closest to us, which are Orlando, Knoxville, and Charlotte. Um, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to do that, but that's almost like those are three within 2 months, and gonna be kind of a struggle. Oh, we'll see. And then like I was like, oh, Portland's also a thing, and she's like, let's go to Portland. I'm okay with that. That can be fun. And then even like we looked at some flights and like some super cheap airlines, and we can go from like our local airport to Hartford for like $50, and it's like okay, maybe. But that's still like I don't want to necessarily spend all of the travel money,
Yeah,
hotels,
you gotta
time
want it.
off
I
if
think.
needed.
Like I will probably end up. I know myself. I will probably end up at way too many of these, but
That's fair.
it's a lot. Yeah. So with all that said, I think we kind of tangented is
Tangented.
not a word. We went off on a tangent. We went off a little far from the main point. Is
Tangented.
that regionals are happening next year. VGC will be at them.
Yes.
A little pricey, but we've talked about that before. If you come to any of the southeastern regionals, the three that Harrison just mentioned, please come say hi. We'll definitely be there. And,
Absolutely. I'm so
yeah,
excited to go see people play this game in person. I think I said that also in another episode.
yeah.
But like to see, if y'all are listening and you want to come say hi, absolutely. Let's play games in person. I'm so excited.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
And lots of other people that you might. I'm pretty sure we're set to see the Pokesports guys, the little
Yep.
lessons guys. Like
Yep.
it's gonna be good.
Be a good time. So I think that wraps up everything Pokemon. Everything.
Pretty much wraps it up. Yeah. Unfortunately, Harrison could not be here for personal reasons, but
Nope, I'm right here.
Not Harrison. Sheldon could not be here for personal reasons. My brain is not really functioning.
You led off this episode with I already had a few drinks, so
there we go.
That's your
right.
excuse.
I did say that when we were already recording, didn't I? Okay.
Yeah.
So, when he is back, when all three of us are here, it's gonna be really fun. Go over, like, pretty much the best parts of Sword and Shield.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be our. I wanted to do this episode as like a send off to Sword and Shield, right? That's kind of what I want us to give for the game we've been playing for the last 3 years. So we'll talk about it more, like you just said, next week. And then I don't know, we've been talking about it offline. We got to find out some ways to fill, I think, 12 more episodes until Scarlet and Violet come out, if I counted that right and remembered from a couple weeks ago. So a handful of episodes.
Maybe talk about other games. We'll see on that one.
Yeah, for sure. I've been playing a lot of fun stuff like Cult of the Lamb, and Dinkum is really fun. That's a good game. The Steam Deck is a great machine to play games on.
I need to get some recommendations. I've been stuck on outside of my fighting games. I've been stuck in Deep Rock Galactic with some buddies.
Deep Rock is very good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have you're gonna go raid in Guild Wars.
Yeah. I mean, MMOs are not a bad thing. Like, it doesn't have to be Guild Wars. Just like cooperative, like objective-based play is really fun.
If we can do a whole episode on MMOs and can convince my wife to play them, I'd be sold. That'd be great. Let's do it. I love MMOs.
Let's do it.
For some reason. That, and then also we've been kicking this around. I started to do a little bit of prep for it. Prepping for an episode. Unheard of for us.
Wing it every time.
That's what?
Wing it every time.
Every time. I hope you guys can't tell. But gonna start talking about, I want to start our series on VGC basics soon as well, so look forward to that. But yeah, so that's a bunch of stuff we can talk about here in the future on the pod. But Rowan, you and I are gonna have much more fun in the much nearer future.
At DragonCon.
Hell yeah.
In Atlanta. Yeah. It's a great time. Lots of cosplay, lots of parties. This is going to be super short notice by the time this is posted. If you're in Atlanta next weekend, yell at one of us. We will
be somewhere. I'm only there
somewhere.
for a day and a half. I'm there Sunday and Monday. I'm doing a bunch of. Also, Halloween Horror Nights starts this weekend too, so we're gonna go the first day of that. So that'll be fun. It's gonna get rained out like every year. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole tradition apparently, that it must pour the first night of Halloween Horror Nights.
It's a little. It's scarier,
Something like that.
I heard roller coasters are way scarier if you're the risk of being struck by lightning.
It's why they stopped operating. Oh, it's
Only
off
if you give up.
Haunted houses and going through those soaking wet sneakers squeaking across the floor, and everyone's like shuffling and shivering, and it's like, don't jump out at me, I'm scared. It's gonna be a fun time. So that's my weekend. It's gonna be hectic. And yeah, we get to see. This is the first time that Rowan and I get to see each other in person. I get to go in the least creepy way possible. Touch Rowan. Yes.
I'm just scared what that's gonna entail.
I said that on the pod. We'll tweet it out when it happens.
Just a picture of one finger.
Yeah, just touch. All right. I think that's.
Would you like to plug?
Yeah, I think we're done here. So on that note, thank you as always to Rob, KTA. I was gonna mess up. I was gonna say the. Thank you to RobKTA for the use of our theme song, Goldenrod Game Corner off of the Ultraball album, and Game Chops. That's the other company. My goodness. I've been Harrison. You can find me on Twitter at Ixen and also Twitch. I already said that earlier in the episode, so find it there.
Yeah. I've been Rowan. You can find me on Twitter, Rowan W Hall. You can find me on YouTube, just Rowan Hall. I haven't posted in a minute because honestly, World Cup's the only like relevant thing I've been doing recently. But I'll be doing my match there, and then I do plan to start doing some Series 9 No Max stuff, which I think will be a lot of fun.
We also have a episode thing we have to put out for you and Sheldon's little.
Yeah. Sheldon, I did have that match. That was a good time.
We need to get together and commentate that. That's the thing. Yeah. Anywho, together we have been the Game Corner. You can find us on Twitter at the Game Corner VGC. Our Discord link is down below. Tell your friends to follow and listen and all that fun stuff. Spread the word. And come say hi. Cool. And until next time, y'all. I almost said my other sound off. Press start and game on. There you go. Bye. What an episode. What an ending. That fell apart real fast. I like it.
Oh, yeah. It's cool. All right.